Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am back for another Slim Sports interview. And as always, I'm your host, Jay Slim. And joining me today is one of the best wide receivers at the FCS level, not just this year, but over the past 3 years as a whole. The all-time leader in receptions in Colgate history, making history for his program left and right, a three-time all-conference selection, 5'10" wide receiver, Treyvhon Saunders. How's it going, Treyvon?
We're doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Excited to have somebody of your caliber on. I noticed the stats that you were putting up early on in the season and saw the highlights of you just mossing people left and right, getting into the end zone whenever you wanted to. And I knew I had to get you on the podcast. So excited to get you on. And I know your accolades because I have my notes here, like I always do, to where I got to get to learn the player a little bit. But I want viewers, listeners that are watching this podcast, that are getting to know your name for the first time, to get to know some of those accolades that you have in a quick segment that I like to call Resume Rundown, where I'm going to show off some of your biggest accolades in a nice little graphic here. And first of which, I mentioned the three-time all-conference selection, three straight first team selections, 23, 24, and 25 season All-Patriot League first team selection. I also mentioned all-time reception leader in Colgate history. You're up there in receiving touchdowns, receiving yards, all of the different categories for a wide receiver. You are up there in their history books. And going into the season on a national scale, you were recognized. You were on the watch list for the 2025 Walter Payton Award. And obviously, an incredible season, even though it was shortened for you, unfortunately, but you were able to still dominate left and right. And obviously, going into this season, you were coming off of those first two all conference selections from the 23 and 24 season. Everybody was recognizing you as one of the top receivers in the country on a national scale. What was the expectations from not only yourself, but also your team for your contribution going into this 2025 season?
Yeah, it was a little different because we got a new head coach, Coach Fitzpatrick, and he's a great coach, and his offensive scheme was great, and we knew him coming in was going to change our offense around a lot. We knew there's going to be a lot more opportunities to go down deep and catch a lot more balls. Yeah, the my efficiency going in, we all knew that I was going to have a good season. It was my last year, senior year. I was going to put it all on the line. I expected myself to have a great season, and it was going all as planned. But it was just the countless work hours that we put in from the spring to the summer to even fall camp before the season even started. We was all going to the right direction.
Oh, that is for sure. And those first couple of games, you dominated with 100 plus yards in each of your first four games of the season, had 105 yards against a Power Four team in Syracuse from the ACC. You ended up overall on the season 50 receptions, 700 receiving yards, six receiving touchdowns, averaged 14 yards per reception. And I mentioned the Syracuse one, you had 223 yards with two touchdowns against Monmouth. 137 yards against Villanova. You also had 91 yards with a pair of touchdowns against Cornell. So you were able to dominate left and right those first couple of games. How would you say that really helped spark this offense early on, knowing, hey, we have a go-to guy, and also where defenses obviously were targeting you, maybe having to double team you, and that opened up some of the other receivers. So how would you say your success early on helped out this offense?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a huge part. It allowed our outside receivers to really get a lot of bump as well. We had guys like Brady Hutchison, Reed Swanson, who's great outside guys. Even Matt Foger that came up later in the season. It allowed them to have their one-on-ones because they were bracketing me inside, doing different coverages to just get me out of the game. But uh, our like I said, our OC, our head coach, had a great offensive scheme. He knew what the defense was going to do, and he still was able to give me the ball and still allow me to produce. Um, but yeah, it was huge, and I think everybody appreciated the focus that I was getting on the inside because it allowed for other guys to get more opportunities as well.
Absolutely. And it seems like you're looking at my notes because I have your head coach and your offensive coordinator in this next question. You've mentioned them twice already, so I got to shout them out as well. Your new head coach, Kurt Fitzpatrick, and your pass game coordinator, offense coordinator, Joe Gerbino. They created this elite level passing offense where you guys actually ranked 10th in the FCS in passing offense total. How would you say they helped elevate you to that next level? And what was it about their scheme that made this passing game so elite?
There's so many nuances with our offense. They like to say if there's green grass, find it. If you're open, you're right. There's so many opportunities within this offense, within our scheme. There's probably so many options with every single route that's in the playbook, especially for the slot. You're given so much freelance to just do what you need to get open, and be on the quarterback's timing. I think they both preached coverages a lot to the insides. Just understanding what coverage it is, so where to attack it, where to be, and how to find those zones. And when it's man, it's just one on one, honestly. So they did an amazing job just preaching to everybody that this is where you got to be, but sometimes it's not going to be there because it's nuances with defenses as well. They play different coverages, and every single coverage is different for our route. So it was a lot to get adjusted to at first, but once we got comfortable, I mean, we were riding, we were going, and we both had the chemistry and trust to just keep going.
Hey, there you go. And obviously, spoken like a veteran receiver right there, doing what you do best. And I mentioned all those big time numbers you put up throughout the season. And you had a whole lot of highlight plays that we're going to talk about here in a quick segment that I like to call Make That Play, where I put together my list of what I felt like were your top three plays from this past season. But obviously, I'm just looking at the film. I'm just a stats guy. I'm a fan in the stands. You're the one doing what you do best on the football field. So, what would you say was your best play from this past season?
And that's tough. There's a lot of good plays. I think I'll start off by saying probably the Syracuse catch. That was a great catch to highlight. Obviously, I know scouts look at that game heavily. They're definitely going to critique that one the most and watch that the most. Making a catch on the sideline with two guys on me, dive into the sideline. That was a great catch. Another good catch was Monmouth, where the ball was behind him, but I still like slid down and caught it. Another good highlight I would say was probably Fordham hurdling a guy. Um, I had a lot of good highlights, and I had a lot of good contested catches that I was able to showcase this year. And understand that I can be a deep threat, but also I could be the sneaky dude inside and getting a first down for everybody. So I mean, there's a lot of plays, but those are the top three that comes to my mind.
Oh, yeah. Well, two of those that you mentioned are in my top three as well. And I'm going to start off at number three, which is that Monmouth catch that you mentioned. 20-yard touchdown reception against Monmouth in a great game there. And you ended up, I believe you ran a corner route from the way that it looked on the film. And your quarterback hit you. And like you said, it was a little bit behind you. So you ended up catching. You knew how close you were to the sideline. So the IQ comes into play. You slid down to make sure that you got inbounds and ended up getting that big time score for your team on that catch. Number two, I have a 32-yard touchdown reception and run after catch against Villanova, where you ended up catching a quick little route, broke through a pair of tackles, and ran 20 more yards for a big time score, hammering through two more defenders at the goal line to make sure you got into the end zone and got points on the board for your team. And then number one, you mentioned that hurdle against Fordham. I had to put that at number one. 40-yard touchdown reception against them. You ran up the sideline, caught it at around the 20-yard line, and you hurdled over a defender completely. Saquon Barkley, the guy, where you just got right over top of him, and then it was just nice, easy path into the end zone from there after you made that guy onto a probably a Sports Center top 10 play there. So those are your top three plays, in my opinion, from this past season. But obviously, you had a lot of them, and you would have had a lot more throughout the season if it wasn't cut short. Unfortunately, you ended up suffering an injury during that Richmond game. How would you say you found ways to bounce back after that injury, whether it was mentally or physically, to be able to still be the player that you know how you can be?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough at first. I think the biggest thing that was on my mind when I first got injured was obviously playing with my teammates. It was my senior year. Came in with those guys. I wanted to finish it with them. I knew that it was a season injury. And then the next thing that came to my mind was the NFL because that's always been my dream. It's always been my goal. And there was a lot of emotions coming at first. But honestly, I just prayed a lot. I sat down, talked to God, read my Bible, just understood His word and what He has planned for me. And it took a little bit. It took like a week or two, because I still had to get surgery and lay around my crib for a little while and not be able to get up on my feet. But once that was over and I could start interacting with the team, I even found ways to like coach. I was really a coach for almost 5 weeks, 6 weeks with the team, just rolling around with a scooter on the field, coaching guys up, especially in my position, because like I said, there's so many nuances with it. And just coming from a guy who's a captain and a leader, I definitely wanted to be there for the team. I didn't want to miss any practices, any games. I wanted to be there to support them. But yeah, man, I mean, I knew that I would be back. I knew that I'm a tough guy. I knew that I'm very determined, so I knew I would be back. It was just a matter of when. But once I found the timeline out, I knew that I'll still have time to be able to do my pro day, still be able to show scouts that my intelligence with interviews, just things of that nature. Once that I knew that, I kind of clicked into another level. This injury, I feel like it made me a different person. It also made me a different player. I'm very determined right now. I want it more than anything. So, knowing that I could end it up and just be like, oh yeah, it was my senior year. I'm done with football. But knowing that I'm coming back and still persevering, it shows a lot of courage for me and my determination.
Absolutely. And I mean, even despite missing a good chunk of the season because of the injury, you still finished second on the team in receiving yards. I believe tied for first or second in receiving touchdowns on the season. I mean, you were still up there with the numbers that you were putting up. Obviously, enough to still get you first team all conference honors in 2025 because you were still high up there where obviously you have all these receivers in the conference playing throughout the entire season and your numbers were still better than theirs. And your guys' season overall, like we talked about before, it's first year under Kurt Fitzpatrick. He's getting everything put in place. You guys ended up going 5-7 overall, 3-4 in Patriot League action, but you did get some good wins. 44-21 win over that Fordham team, 23-20 win in overtime against Merrimack, and then a great 38-19 win over Bucknell for this Colgate Raiders team. Talk to me real quick about despite losing you in the offense, obviously you were wide receiver number one. You were that go-to guy that they could go to get those yards, get those touchdowns. How would you say they were still able to have this top 10 passing offense in FCS to where other guys were able to step up and be able to contribute?
I mean, it's definitely a testament to our receiver room. Our guys are deep. There's a lot of great players in that room. Even the four seniors that's leaving, I know that class and the people that's under us is still going to do amazing. But it's also a testament to the coaches too. They know how to scheme people up. Great coaches know how to get people the ball regardless of who they are. And then our players just made plays out there. That was really the huge part about it, coaching and then just the players stepping up. But I think they did an amazing job. There wasn't really a crazy drop off because of the fact that everybody is great in our receiver room. I think we were the top receiver room in the nation. Um, a couple of our players went down, like Winston Moore went down, I went down. So if we had all of our guys, I think that it would have been even more of maybe top five in the nation in terms of FCS and passing yards. But Coach Fitzpatrick know what he's doing. Coach Joe Bino, he knows what he's doing. They're definitely going into the right direction. I don't think our record was a testament to what our season was truly was this year, but I think that next year is going to be definitely turned around, and they're definitely going to get it on the right ship.
Absolutely. And I know you mentioned before how you were kind of a coach for about 4 or 5, 6 weeks of the season where you were trying to help out these younger receivers and help out the guys that were on the field, recognize what the defense was doing, doing whatever you could to help them win. What was some of your advice to these receivers and even to quarterbacks like Jake Stearney, who he's been your quarterback for the past few years? He's used to throwing you. He knows, okay, look for Treyvhon Saunders, throw him the ball, he's going to make a play. Now he's without his wide receiver one. What was your advice to him as well as the other receivers?
Yeah, in terms of the receivers, like I said, it was more just like the nuances with the defense. Especially our defense in practice, we have a great coach, and he does a lot of crazy coverages that can trick up some people in the slot. But just understanding that at the end of the day, the game is very simple. Especially in the slot, you just look at your triangle, go from Sam to safety to corner, and you'll be able to recognize very easily what the coverage is. There's also just like in terms of confidence, like. You got to have the mentality to go out there and just play your heart out no matter what. And understanding that practice is not a time off for you to just goof around and everything. Like you got to hit practice like it is the game, so the game becomes very easy. And I think that the coaches and myself was just trying to instill that into the players that to understand that you have to work harder than you think you do to become successful. And in terms of Jake Sterney, I mean, we still sat down and watched film with each other. We were still in each other's corner. I was there for him, and he was also there for me too. Um, just understanding, giving him confidence that you are the best quarterback. You are the best quarterback in what you do. Whoever's on the field, you have to feel like you're the best quarterback. You have to instill that confidence to a quarterback, and quarterback is. literally the key factor to an offense. Without a good quarterback, it's going to be a little bit tricky. So instilling that confidence in him and within the other quarterbacks as well, because there's also other quarterbacks that came out there like Jackson, Kilberg, also Zach Osborne, who came back from injury too. Just understanding that those guys, y'all are the best in the country and that y'all need to play like it. Because we expect a lot out of this program, and we understand that Coach Fitzpatrick also expects a lot out of him because he's also the quarterbacks coach too. So he understands that he's trying to get the guys right and just make sure they're all good. But yeah, I think everybody was just instilling confidence into each other and just playing with that mentality that nobody can stop us.
Absolutely, man. And I mentioned before how despite missing a majority of the season, you were still second on the team in yards. You were up there in touchdowns for your team, and you still earned first team all conference honors because you have that reputation of being a big play receiver, being a guy that is a go-to guy. You remind me a lot, actually, of a receiver that I had on from Eastern Washington last year, Etan Chisholm III. He's now with the New England Patriots. As far as a guy where whenever you get the ball, it seems like you're able to not just get 4 or 5 yards, you're able to get a first down, make your way into the end zone. What should this tell these pro teams, these NFL teams that might be scouting you, that when you're at full health, you're going to be able to do not only this, but a whole lot more?
Yeah, I mean, first I want to say like I think a testimony to my film shows a lot. What I put out there is who I am. That's for one. I think I went hard on every single play. I never went out there and just gave up on a play, gave up on a block, anything like that. Understood that scouts were looking at me. I understood about that, but it's not about if they were looking at me or not. I was still going to produce regardless. That was my mentality the whole entire season. Um, but I also want them to know, like, I'm coming back stronger than ever. I'm working on this ankle. I'm working on my body. I'm still lifting. I was lifting on a boot when I couldn't even walk. I had to hop everywhere. Doing rehab left and right, still getting it in. And I want them to know that I'm the player who you think that I'm going to be. I'm going to come back fully healthy, even better than what I was. It's become a new level for me to get even better. I think that was the plan anyway. When you go into the league, you got to be better than what you were in college. And I understand that. But it also is my intelligence of the game as well. I bring a great tool for the receiver room of understanding coverages, understanding where I need to be, understanding quarterback timing, understanding routes and route combinations and how they play off of each other. I think with my intelligence and also with my physical attributes, I will be a great team for anybody to pick me up, and I hold a very good value for myself. But I just want them to know that I am coming back stronger than ever, and I will be better than what I was.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see Treyvhon Saunders' name on an NFL roster here coming up next season. And I got some autographed NFL jerseys of some of my guys. I already know I'm going to get an autographed Treyvhon Saunders jersey. There is no doubt in my mind, as long as you're willing to autograph one. But I know that you speak very highly of your teammates as well. And I have this segment on this podcast where I'm always trying to find new players to have on to get their names out there, tell their stories just like you're doing now. And that segment is called Who's Up Next, where you're able to recommend some players, get their names out there as well, just as you're doing for yourself now. So, who's up next on the Slim Sports Podcast?
I'm gonna give you two. I think I've been really close with these guys because they're in my receiver room. They did an amazing job. They stepped up. There were some young guys that really put in a lot of work, and I think they showed a lot of change throughout the season, mentality wise, playing wise. First guy I'm gonna say is Reese Swanson, 6'6" receiver, tall, lengthy guy. I never seen somebody run like that and be able to move the way he does. He's a great receiver, and he almost got 1,000 yards a season. And that's with me being the receiver one at first, and him coming back and being a receiver two, and then becoming a receiver one. He stepped up a big time, and I think his film shows how great he is and how good of a player that he can be in the future. Another guy that stepped up as well is Matthew Fogler, a guy from Ohio, both from Ohio. So I'm gonna support him always. And he stepped up. He didn't really get much bump at first, but then when he got bumped, he took it and ran with it. The coaches trust him a lot. He played really well. He did a lot of deep balls, a lot of posts for us, a lot of goals, and he capitalized on every single one. So he's definitely a guy I would look at as well.
There you go. A couple of names right off the bat. Obviously, I know there are some dogs if you're recommending them that quick. And 6'6" receiver, man, he's tall. I remember looking at his numbers as well. I'm definitely going to look at both of those names to have on the Slim Sports podcast to get their names out there, just like you're doing now. And obviously, you're looking to continue your career in the NFL ranks. I know you said that you're still working on your ankle, working on your body, staying in shape. And once you get fully healthy, I know you're going to be out there back on the field, running routes, making sure that you're ready for the NFL Pro Day, all that stuff. How are you looking to really get better going into the pro ranks to where you can not only earn an invite to a rookie minicamp, but eventually make your way to a full NFL roster?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just daily inputs. I think one thing that Coach Fitz really taught this team and taught me in general is that understand the inputs instead of outputs, be input focused instead of output driven. Um, I understand what I need to do day by day to become great and to be that next receiver up. Whether it's a mini in camp, whether it's UDFA, whether it's drafted, it doesn't matter to me. I'm gonna, as long as I get an opportunity, that's all I really need. Like I said, I've been wanting this dream since I was a little kid. So any chance that I can get, I'm going to go get it. And I just know that it takes a lot to be great in terms of being in the NFL and to become a starter, becoming on a 52-man roster. There's so many things that you have to do, but I'm willing to do every single thing to become that. I can see myself as a very successful receiver in the NFL, and I know it's down a pipe, but at the end of the day, I got to focus on every single day, and that starts with today and getting the lift in, getting a little bit more rehab in, and everything like that. And as those days stack up, that will literally show the results in the end.
Hey, there you go, man. Spoken like a future NFL pro, and I do see you making an NFL roster here very soon for your career. I am excited for you, man. I was very happy to get in touch with you early on in the season, like I said before, and to be able to get you on for this podcast has been an incredible interview, one of the best that I've done so far this season. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule with the rehab, with the workouts and everything to hop on the podcast and do this amazing interview.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.